Alright, we are back to do another sparring breakdown video. Today I'm going to break down some sparring with me and my student George. George is new to Jiu-Jitsu, but he's been practicing Chinese martial arts for a long time. Tai Chi instructor, Kung Fu practitioner, lived in China for a while practicing. I've been doing Jiu-Jitsu since 2005. I'm just going to kind of break down some of the things I see that come up during our little sparring session here. See kind of George finding his distance, looking to come in and control the legs, trying to come through with a knee through pass, knock him off balance here, start moving into the mount. Right away controlling a hand, forcing a mounted triangle. Now I'm kind of using my stomach here to push that arm across, lock up the triangle, and get a quick tap. So let's go back and kind of look at some of the things that happened here. Like, George is doing good. He's still new to Jiu-Jitsu, so there'll be some good stuff we can point out we kind of see that happens here along the way. Like you see George initiating very well, just kind of coming in with a knee in the center, trying to pin my bottom leg down. I can see a little bit just from his stance, it's like a little bit narrow in his stance, which is going to kind of help make us landing a little bit harder. You can see I'm keeping my hand on the inside here. This isn't intentional. I was probably just more worried about like him hitting me between the legs there, but it's gonna kind of help make things a bit harder for him to kind of get established here. But I think the thing that's going to be hurting him the most, George the most here, is where this post is as he's coming down. It's a little narrow. You can see already, you can actually see with his stance here, his feet are very close together and everything's just kind of like in too close. So what would be better for him to do is step out and forward with this back leg. It needs to be kind of like underneath my leg here. And if he can kind of step in with that wider stance, he's going to have a wider sense of base, and he will be more balanced as he comes down. So let's just kind of see how this plays out. So yeah, as he steps down, the knee got blocked, so he kind of ends up in the open guard here. And you can see already he's in good position for my scissor sweep. So it's not going to take much for me to kind of knock him over here because he's off balance in his stance. I also have control of his wrist, which you can see here. And just by kind of controlling his arm here, it's putting him off balance to the right here. So it's going to be easy for me to knock George over in this direction. For George, it's going to be more about like him needing to post to stay on top. And you can see that post failed him right away. As soon as I broke the posture with his head, he's already off balance. He no longer has a post. So now I just kind of need to keep raising the level of my hip, and I'll win that sweep. So yeah, as we come up here, you can see George's hand positioning is too overextended. He's not keeping his arms in. He's looking to kind of control my biceps here. This is probably positioning we've been drilling for close guard, and it's just kind of like naturally where he felt like his hands needed to go, not recognizing that the position's inverted, right? So sometimes we don't think quickly enough in the moment to realize that our hand positioning is in the wrong position. So George, you want to keep your hands on your chest here, buddy, if you're watching. This is going to be the safer place for your hands to go, so you're up here on your chest. So if we kind of continue forward here, you can see it's really easy just for me to force one arm down now. And now the second mistake George making, which is actually kind of playing into my mounted triangles, he's controlling my wrist. So this arm's already coming across the center line for me, which is going to make things easier for me to set up my triangle after I pass that leg over the head. So as we kind of continue forward here, there you see I have the leg underneath the head, so now I just need to start working on my figure four. So I start walking the leg up. I decided to push the arm across first. And you can see I'm really kind of trying to utilize my rib cage. Like George has very strong shoulders, but one of the things that I'm doing is I'm using my body to drive into this arm and push the arm across. And that's kind of taking away a lot of the strength and helping me use my size and weight advantage here a little bit to make things easier so I don't have to rely on strength as much. And you can see this is a big thing I do whenever I teach mounted triangles. It's something I love to point out is keeping that high post. Okay, I don't want to go to my back when I attack a triangle. There's no reason to do that if I'm already in the mount. I can very well easily set it up and stay on top. So as long as you're using that high post, controlling your shin, it's very easier to lock the figure four. And now it makes it much easier for me to lock up that choke, drive back on top, and drive in and forward to finish the choke. So yeah, we'll go back to it after this. I'll kind of break it down a little bit more, giving George some feedback here. we go back to passing. George's doing a great job controlling my ankles, controlling my legs. He needs to circle a little bit more. Starts dropping in, staying heavy, doing a good job here. Forces me into half guard, but I managed to pick up a kimura here. I start trying to look to sweep the kimura, but don't quite get it over. He's doing a good job keeping that kimura tight to his body. He's doing the right thing here defensively. I pummel my hook inside, try to flatten him out. So yeah, I realize it's not working, so I switched to a little sit-up sweep variation. I still have my kimura grip, so I roll through, start coming on top and looking on the armbar. So again, like, good job on George's part. I kind of took him out of like his element in a lot of ways. It would be hard for him to kind of transition out of that, but let's kind of look down some things he could have done differently here. This is a common thing that you'll see people do. You'll see people catch the kimura and they bring this hand inside. Okay, so George's defense is sound here. He's not doing the wrong thing. Maybe if he wanted to improve his position just slightly, I would try to drive that shoulder more into the armpit. That was like a really old school concept that my coach Olavo Abreu taught me a long time ago, is that if you drive your shoulder into your opponent's armpit, for them it makes it much more difficult for them to finish the kimura. So it's like a nice little like sound detail to make it a bit harder for you to finish that kimura setup. But anyway, so as we kind of drive forward here, I'm trying to pry the hand out. It's not really working. I pummel my hook inside. It's still proving to be difficult. So usually when I realize I'm stalemating here, I'm not going to get it. What I like to do is I like to start raising my level. So you can see right away, I'm posting on this elbow. This is helping me get my height up. And now all I have to do is bump him with my hips. So we can't see my right leg, but my right heel is driving down into the mat here. And that's what's going to help me drive forward so I can push George over to the left, right? So if we continue here, you just see me hit the hip bump, and this is what helps kind of drive George over. And again, as soon as I get back on top, it's real easy for me to start locking that kimura. So I just do a shoulder roll here. This. I'm just doing a shoulder roll here over my left shoulder. Let's play out a little bit. Yeah, so keeping my kimura. I know it's important for me to keep my kimura grip. I'm trying to push George away from me now to make things a bit harder for him. My legs are free, so now I just need to turn in and come on top. George doing what he feels is the right thing, which is keeping his arm tight to his body. When he keeps his arm tight to his body like that, it helps me pull myself back up into the position. So now when I roll back on top, him pulling down is going to help me step forward and into that armbar. So now from here, I pass my leg over, sit back, easy armbar finish. So yeah, good job on George's part. I just kind of like exploited, took him out of his element a little bit. Like once I had that kimura, I had a lot of transitions from there. That was going to be hard to stop. So again, George doing the right thing, control my feet here. He wasn't engaging too much, so we moved up to our feet. I hit him with a quick little pinch front headlock or a front headlock takedown there called a cement mixer. I keep kind of circling north-south, checking his hip, making it hard for him to get his guard back. So at this point, I'm really just kind of just pinning, giving George a little opportunity to work here. Seeing what opportunities come up for me. So yeah, George doing a great job staying on his side. Just got to improve that hand positioning. Again, like one of the things that's kind of hurting George from getting his escape going is his top hand. You see this top hand is reaching over my back. You see this a lot from beginners where they kind of latch onto you. If he had this hand in front of my chin, he'd be able to create a lot more space, and it would be helping him get some space to recover. So yeah, I pick up a kimura from north-south. roll him over, transition back into the arm lock. George doing good. Keep moving. But he taps. Okay, so look, George is doing the right thing here. I start moving in the north-south and I pick up the kimura. Hard to see, cameraman's on the wrong side for this one. So as we turn back, I still have the kimura grip, so I know I can just kind of bridge him to the left. And I just pull that knee in to come back on top, and it makes it easy for me to transition back into my arm lock. So we watched George try to start his escape here, and he's doing a good job lifting his hips, but he needs to turn the other way. So and actually on the previous armbar we saw a very similar thing. So right now George is facing away from me in the armbar, right? He's trying to retreat from the armbar. Maybe what he's looking to do is hitchhiker escape, so he's looking to pass these legs off to the side so he can start his escape out. But what's cutting him short the most is because he's turned away and not turning in, he can't stack me. Anytime you're in an armbar, you ideally want to be driving into the person, but because George is driving away, it's not allowing him to get the positioning he needs to get back on top. And so we just got to work on some stacking for George. I think he won't feel so helpless in that armbar there at the end. So yeah, just kind of helping him understand what we need to do to get out of the armbar. Like hitchhiker escape's a good option, but stacking is always going to probably be if I was to rate which escape was more important, a stack or a hitchhiker, I'd always put stack first. It's just a higher percentage escape, it's an earlier escape. So I give George a little bit of space here, let him work some offense. A good defensive here. He starts attacking the arm. Good step over here. And here's a prime example. You see me using the stack to come on top. And you just see the stack is a really powerful position you can kind of move into top position with. And now I'm back on top where I can pass. I like to play top position. I'm a big guy. It's a little bit more comfortable for me to stay on top. So again, just pummeling the inside. George actually doing a good job trying to get that inside control. I always think that's a really important thing. Whoever controls the inside and close guard tends to control the action. George trying to get my hands to the mat. Goes for a sit-up sweep. I block his hips. Hit a quick pass and move into the mount. We're seeing better hand positioning from George this time. But reaching a little bit too far. So yeah, again, the common mistake you see from beginners in the mount, kind of come over, and if you look at his hands start in decent position, but as he starts looking on the trap and roll and stuff, George is just no longer protecting his neck, right? So when I grab his head, he's no longer weary that the chokes are coming. So again, keeping the hands inside here, very common thing for beginners that they forget to do. So George needs to be blocking this space, but nothing's blocking this space. So what makes this easy for me is now I can start moving to my Nogi Ezekiel choke. So once I realize I have the positioning, I just move my fist in, cover my right wrist with my left hand. So right now this hand here is pulling down on my forearm, and as I pull down on the forearm, it helps me drop my fist into George's throat and helps me get that quick tap. Kind of explaining the mechanics to him here real quick. Again, a really nice choke to do Nogi. It's something I've used for a long time. Works really good at all belt levels, especially when you got people that are doing a good job protecting their neck. And George, great job controlling at the long range on the feet. He's very good at getting control of those ankles. Explosively passes. Trying to prime my arm, start looking on the armbar again. Really nice positioning here from George. See George sit back, cross his feet, start prying that foot. And finishes with a nice armbar. So yeah, George is doing good. Seeing lots of progress in his game. Again, a little hesitant from George to put that weight forward. He's doing a good job controlling, but he needs to put a little bit more weight behind his passing. He does a good job switching left to right. When he circles well. Nice pass from George. You see, he really likes that armbar, that near side armbar. This time we see him go more seatbelt. Starts taking my back. And I'm just kind of sharing with him that there's an armbar in the back here for him, just to kind of give him some more options so you can see some other moves. You can look through my technique bank on YouTube. You guys can see that same armbar I just taught George. So yeah, I hope you guys like this breakdown. George is new to grappling. His kung fu, I'm sure, was great. He'd light me up with his hands. The sport was different. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this breakdown. If you have questions, comments, anything you guys want to see in the future, feel free to leave in the comments. And thank you all for watching.